Recovered Guild Expedition Report. Status: unresolved. Begin record.
Every hunter fears something. Not every hunter admits it. Some fear the towering shadow of a devil Joe emerging from the trees. Others fear the silent approach of a Nargacuga. Some fear the impossible, the ancient dragons that turn entire ecosystems into graveyards. But fear has a strange way of lingering. It hides beneath experience, beneath confidence, beneath skill. And somewhere in the forgotten corners of the New World, there is said to be a Qurupeco unlike any other. A creature that does not simply mimic monster calls. It listens, it learns. And when it finds a hunter carrying fear inside their heart, it gives that fear a voice. Tonight's story follows a veteran hunter who believed there was nothing left in this world capable of frightening him, until he heard a roar that should not have existed. A roar that seemed to come directly from his nightmares. And by the time he realized what was hunting him, it was already too late. Most hunters know the Qurupeco as a nuisance, an odd bird wyvern capable of imitating the cries of larger monsters. Many underestimate it. After all, compared to the titans that roam the wilds, a Qurupeco appears almost harmless, annoying, cowardly, pathetic. But predators do not survive by strength alone. Some survive through intelligence, others survive through deception, and a few survive by understanding fear better than their prey ever could. Guild records rarely mention the incident. Officially, it never happened. The reports were scattered, incomplete, contradictory. The only surviving testimony came from a single hunter whose mental condition deteriorated so rapidly that most dismissed his story as trauma-induced hallucination. But among researchers who studied the case, one detail stood out. Every victim reported hearing a different monster, and every victim heard the monster they feared most. The hunter's name was Garrick, a veteran. Nearly 20 years of successful hunts, dozens of elder dragons, countless dangerous expeditions. The sort of hunter whose confidence bordered on arrogance. When the guild assigned him to investigate missing supply teams in a remote jungle region, he accepted without hesitation. The disappearances seemed straightforward. 3 teams gone within 2 weeks. No bodies, no signs of major territorial disputes, no evidence of elder dragon activity, just abandoned camps, scattered equipment, and an overwhelming sense that something was wrong. The jungle itself felt strange, not dangerous, not at first, just quiet, too quiet. The usual chorus of wildlife seemed muted, as though the forest were holding its breath. Garrick noticed it immediately. Years of experience had sharpened his instincts. Predators left traces, scars on trees, broken vegetation, tracks, evidence. But the deeper he traveled, the fewer signs he found. Entire sections of the jungle appeared untouched, frozen, waiting. On the second day, he discovered the first abandoned camp. The tents remained standing. Supplies remained intact. Meals sat half-finished on wooden crates. The hunters had vanished in the middle of ordinary activity, as though something had interrupted them. Something so sudden they had no opportunity to react. No signs of struggle, no blood, no tracks, just absence. And one strange detail. Every journal entry ended with references to sounds, roars, cries, calls, different descriptions from different hunters. One wrote about hearing a tigrex. Another claimed they heard a rathalos. A third insisted an elder dragon was nearby. None of it made sense. The evidence contradicted itself. yet all of them seemed terrified. Garrick dismissed the reports. Stress could make people imagine things, especially in isolated environments. He continued deeper into the jungle. That night, he heard the first roar. It came shortly after sunset, distant, echoing through the darkness. A sound so familiar it instantly froze him in place. Rajang. His grip tightened around his weapon. His pulse accelerated. For the first time in years, genuine unease crawled into his chest. Because Rajang was the one monster he truly feared. Not because of stories, not because of reputation, because of experience. 10 years earlier, Garrick had barely survived an encounter with one. The creature had slaughtered his hunting party. 3 friends dead within minutes. Only Garrick escaped. The memory never left him. The screams, the violence, the helplessness. Every nightmare traced back to that day. And now, he was hearing Rajang, deep in a region where Rajang should not have existed. The roar came again, closer. Garrick searched for tracks. Nothing. Broken branches. Nothing. Signs of territorial damage. Nothing. The jungle remained silent, still, watching. Then he heard something else, a strange clicking sound, almost musical, brief, unnatural. By the time he turned toward it, the sound had vanished. The next morning, he found more evidence, not of Rajang, of fear, fresh footprints, human footprints, running, erratic, panicked. The tracks belonged to one of the missing hunters. They circled through the forest repeatedly, doubling back, changing direction. The trail resembled someone fleeing a predator they could hear, but could not see. Eventually, the footprints stopped. There were no signs of a body, no signs of an attack. The hunter had simply disappeared. That evening, the roar returned, closer, louder, more aggressive. Again, Garrick searched for evidence. Again, he found nothing. And then he noticed something disturbing. The roar only occurred when he was alone. Whenever he reached open terrain or elevated ground where visibility improved. Silence. Whenever dense foliage surrounded him, the sound returned, always hidden, always nearby, never visible, like something intentionally staying beyond sight. Days passed. Sleep became difficult. Every night brought more roars. Every night they seemed closer. The jungle itself began changing. Shadows appeared larger. Distances felt distorted. Normal animal sounds became rare. Paranoia crept into Garrick's thoughts. Eventually he spotted the source. A Qurupeco, perched high above the jungle floor. Watching. Its colorful plumage should have looked ridiculous. Instead, it felt wrong. Its eyes lingered on him longer than they should have, studying him, evaluating him. Then it opened its beak and produced the perfect roar of a Rajang. Not an imitation, not an approximation. Perfect. Every vibration, every nuance, every horrifying detail. The sound struck Garrick like a physical blow. The Qurupeco tilted its head, almost curiously, as though observing his reaction. Then it flew away, and Garrick realized something that chilled him far more than the roar itself. The creature had been watching him, learning. From that moment, everything changed. The roars became constant, no longer distant, no longer occasional. They followed him, every hour, every campsite, every trail, every moment of silence. Rajang, 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 always Rajang. The Qurupeco appeared repeatedly, never close enough to attack, never close enough to capture, only watching, listening, waiting. It began mimicking other sounds, his fallen companions, voices from his past, fragments of conversations that should have been impossible for any creature to know. At first, Garrick believed exhaustion was affecting his judgment. Then he found the second camp. Unlike the first, this one contained bodies, or what remained of them. No wounds, no signs of predation, no evidence of violence. The hunters appeared to have died where they stood, expressions frozen in absolute terror. Their journals provided the final piece. Each hunter feared a different monster. One feared Devil Joe, another feared Lagiacris, a third feared Brachydios, and each reported hearing only that monster, over and over, night after night, until sleep vanished, until reason eroded, until fear consumed everything else. The realization struck Garrick with horrifying clarity. The monster calls were not random. The Qurupeco was choosing them. Somehow it knew. Somehow it understood exactly which fear would hurt the most. And it used that knowledge the way a Rathalos used fire, as a weapon, as a hunting tool, as psychological poison. The jungle became a prison. Every sound felt suspicious. Every shadow resembled a lurking predator. Garrick stopped trusting his senses. Then came the worst night. A storm rolled across the region. Thunder shook the canopy. Rain hammered the jungle. Visibility collapsed. And somewhere beyond the darkness, Rajang roared, closer than ever before. The sound erupted from every direction simultaneously, ahead, behind, above, beside him, impossible. The Qurupeco had begun layering the cries, creating the illusion of movement, the illusion of pursuit, the illusion that an unseen monster was circling him, hunting him. Garrick ran. For the first time since accepting the mission, he ran. Branches tore at his armor, mud dragged at his boots. The roars followed, always nearby, always hidden. And then he saw it, a silhouette illuminated by lightning, massive, broad shoulders, golden fur, curved horns, Rajang, standing motionless between the trees. Garrick raised his weapon. Another flash of lightning. The figure vanished. Only a Qurupeco remained, perched atop a fallen log, watching. The realization shattered something inside him. The creature was not merely imitating fear anymore. It was feeding it, amplifying it, training his mind to expect Rajang around every corner, turning imagination into a predator, turning paranoia into reality. The Qurupeco shrieked, a cry unlike any monster Garrick had ever heard. Then dozens of distant roars answered. Not real monsters, echoes, imitations, an entire chorus of nightmares. The jungle erupted with impossible sounds. Devil Joe, Tigrex, Nargacuga, Rajang, every cry overlapping, every shadow moving, every instinct screaming danger. Garrick fired blindly into the darkness. The sounds only intensified. Hours later, rescuers found him wandering near the edge of the region, alone, disarmed, half-conscious, terrified, repeating the same sentence over and over. It's learning. It's learning. It's learning. The official investigation ended quickly. The guild attributed the deaths to environmental stress and monster activity. The jungle was quarantined, the report sealed. The surviving Qurupeco was never captured, never identified, never located. Yet strange accounts continued appearing over the years, hunters hearing monsters that should not be present, entire expeditions abandoning assignments after nights filled with impossible roars, witnesses describing a colorful bird watching from distant trees, always observing, always listening. Researchers eventually proposed a theory. Most predators hunt bodies. This Qurupeco hunted minds. It identified trauma, measured fear, Then transform that fear into a weapon. The more frightened the victim became, the more effective the hunt. No claws required, no venom, no physical strength, only patience, manipulation, and an understanding of terror deeper than any natural predator should possess. Because the most frightening part was never the monster call. It was the realization that the call belonged specifically to you, not your companions, not other hunters. You, your fear, your nightmare, your weakness, chosen with impossible precision. And once you understood that, you could never stop wondering what else the creature knew. Somewhere deep within the forgotten wilderness, a Qurupeco may still be listening, watching passing hunters from the canopy above, learning their habits, studying their reactions, searching for that single crack in their confidence, that hidden fear they hope nobody will ever discover. Because once it finds that fear, the hunt has already begun. And if, one night, you hear the roar of the monster you fear, most echoing through an empty forest, do not assume the monster is nearby. The real predator may be much smaller, much smarter, and far more dangerous. After all, a monster that hunts your body can kill you, but a monster that hunts your fear can make you destroy yourself. And somewhere in the darkness, it may already know exactly what you're afraid of.
This report remains under investigation. The Guild closed this case. The archives did not.